Chosen one. Stop scrolling. Heaven has just interrupted your timeline. You think this is another passing moment, another random video among thousands, but no. The algorithm didn't send this. Heaven paused everything to reach you right now. You are the reason time itself bends for a few seconds. For God is risking it all to tell you the truth. You have been feeling the tremor in your spirit, the strange unrest that whispers, something is shifting. It is not anxiety. It is the movement of destiny pressing against the walls of your ordinary life. You are not like the rest. And deep down you've always known it. Every sleepless night, every tear you've shed in silence, every rejection that cut deeper than words, all of it has been a setup for this divine interruption. Listen carefully. Chosen one. Heaven doesn't speak without purpose. When God disrupts your routine, it means the timeline of your destiny has been activated. That's why things around you began to fall apart. Relationships dissolved. Doors closed. People misunderstood you. It wasn't punishment, it was purification. You've been asking, why is God silent? But silence was never absence. It was God's strategy to isolate your frequency so that when He finally spoke, you would hear Him without interference. Heaven is declaring something over you right now. You are the vessel God has been preparing in secret. While the world scrolled through noise, you were hidden. Every delay was divine training. Every disappointment was heaven's disguise of direction. You were never behind. You were being refined. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 23, verse 4. Even though I walk through the valley of death's shadow, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Yes, chosen one. You've walked through valleys that others didn't survive. You've faced shadows that tried to convince you that light no longer existed. But the truth is, light has been following you, even in darkness. The reason the enemy targeted you so early is because you carry what he fears most: revelation. The moment you realize who you are, hell's power over your mind collapses. That's why confusion has been your greatest battle. It's the last line of defense before clarity comes. This message isn't for everyone. Only the marked ones will understand. The ones who've felt unseen, unheard, unwanted. The ones who've cried, God, if you still see me, give me a sign. This is that sign. Heaven's risk is proof of your worth. The fact that you are hearing this right now means your assignment has reached its awakening point. You must understand, God doesn't interrupt without intention. When heaven releases a message, it's a call to movement. That's why you can't stay still anymore. That restlessness in your heart isn't exhaustion, it's activation. Something divine is about to be released through your obedience. Chosen one. You've survived too much to doubt now. You've endured what would have destroyed others. And through it all, grace has been your unseen shield. Heaven is whispering, you are not finished. You are just beginning. What you lost was never meant to define you. It was meant to free you. The delay wasn't denial, it was divine alignment. God is calling you to rise quietly, boldly, faithfully. There are assignments attached to your name that no one else can fulfill. You are not random, you are required. And though you feel small right now, you are standing on the edge of revelation that will change everything. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. And 20. That is why the battle's intensified lately, because your light is about to expose darkness. Every attack was confirmation that you are close to breakthrough. Heaven didn't choose the loudest or the strongest, it chose the willing, the broken, the humble. That's you, the one still standing after every storm. Listen again. You are chosen. You are not late, not forgotten, not forsaken. You are being summoned to alignment. Heaven's clock has struck your hour. You've been praying for confirmation. This is it. Don't delay your obedience another day. Right now, if your spirit feels that weight of truth, pause and acknowledge it. Don't overthink. Just act. Heaven always moves when faith responds. So, if you know this word is for you, make your declaration known. Type in the comments, 770. 7. A prophetic act that declares, I align with heaven's message. Then, like this message, share it so another chosen one can awaken. And subscribe to stay connected to the flow of divine revelation that is unfolding. This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. Heaven has risked interruption just for you. You've felt it for years, haven't you? Chosen one, that subtle pull deep inside your spirit. A quiet knowing that you were meant for something greater. There were moments when the ordinary world around you seemed to reject you, not because you were unworthy, but because heaven had already set you apart. You never fit neatly into the patterns others accepted as normal. And that difference has cost you peace at times. But what you didn't know was that your name is stored in a hidden file in heaven, a record sealed, not by ink, but by light. Before the world ever called your name, heaven whispered it. You were seen, marked, and prepared long before you were misunderstood. While others chased recognition, God wrote your purpose in secret. The very things you thought were delays were actually divine locks protecting the treasure within you. Every time you were overlooked for a promotion, ignored in a friendship, or replaced in a relationship, heaven recorded your response. It wasn't silence, it was surveillance. God was observing how you would react when unseen, testing the faithfulness of your heart. The truth is, the system of this world rarely celebrates what heaven values. That's why your authenticity was labeled as too much, your sensitivity as weakness, and your spiritual depth as strangeness. But what the world rejected, God preserved. The file in heaven carries your real record, not the failures, not the opinions, not the judgments, but your endurance, your faith, your resilience when no one was clapping for you. Heaven knows the nights you stayed up praying, even when you felt like quitting. It knows the quiet acts of kindness you offered when bitterness would have been easier. It knows how many times you forgave those who never apologized. This unseen obedience has been accumulating as spiritual currency, and heaven is about to cash it in your favor. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope. That single sentence carries the blueprint of your destiny. It means nothing about your journey has been random. Even the seasons that broke you were calculated for your building. God didn't forget your name. He archived it for a time when revelation would meet readiness. You are stepping into that time now. Understand this. When heaven has written your name, No earthly eraser can remove it. The promotions you missed, the love you lost, the doors that slammed shut. All of it was rearranged by divine intelligence. Heaven knew that if you walked through certain doors too early, your character wouldn't sustain the weight of your calling. That's why God hid you. You weren't buried, you were planted. And now, the soil around you is trembling because the seed is beginning to crack. The pressure you feel is not destruction, it's birth. The hidden file of your destiny is being opened, line by line, command by command. What once looked like delay is now revelation unfolding. Every word ever spoken over you, every prayer whispered in exhaustion, every promise sealed in silence is aligning in this moment. Chosen one, the truth heaven is revealing to you is that obscurity was never punishment. It was preservation. You were kept away from certain crowds because their influence would have diluted your anointing. You were denied opportunities because their platforms would have imprisoned your voice. Heaven had to protect what it was still developing inside you. Do not envy those who seem to advance faster. Many run ahead without foundation. They rise quickly but crumble quietly. You, however, are being built with depth. Your preparation was private because your manifestation will be public. Heaven doesn't rush with its masterpieces. When God finally unveils what He's been crafting through your pain, the world will see why the wait was necessary. This is why you've been sensing a shift lately, a gentle pressure in your spirit that whispers, "It's time." Heaven is opening your file, activating the assignments written with your name. You will begin to see divine coincidences, meetings, messages, moments that align perfectly. These are not random. They are timestamps of destiny catching up with obedience. Hold still. Chosen one, you don't need to announce your comeback. Heaven is already broadcasting it in the unseen. Let your peace be your prophecy. For the same God who wrote your beginning is now turning the page toward your unveiling. For I know the plans I have for you. Those words are still alive, still echoing, still rewriting every label placed upon you. The hidden file in heaven has never been lost. It's simply been waiting for you to be ready to read it. There is a silence that speaks louder than thunder. Chosen one, you've been walking through it lately, the pause that feels endless, the stillness that stretches longer than you expected. You prayed, and nothing moved. You obeyed, yet doors remained closed. You wondered, did I do something wrong? But this silence isn't punishment. It's prophecy in disguise. Heaven is holding its breath before the storm of revelation breaks over your life. Every chosen one must endure a divine hush before divine unveiling. Think of it. Noah built the ark in silence before the flood came. Joseph sat in prison before his elevation. Even Jesus stood still before the stone rolled away. Silence is never absence. It's preparation. It's the moment heaven pulls back to test whether you will still believe when the sound of God fades. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Elijah. Chapter 19, verse 12. And after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. 2. This quiet season has been testing your faith's endurance. Anyone can praise when doors open, but the real chosen ones worship when heaven feels locked. You've been learning to trust, not in results, but in relationship. Every unanswered prayer, every night you felt forgotten, has been rewriting your spiritual reflexes. You are learning to rely on presence, not proof. Chosen one, You are being rewired for discernment. The reason you no longer enjoy the things you once did is because your spirit has matured. You crave silence now because you sense the sacred within it. While others chase constant noise, you have discovered that peace is prophetic. God has been detoxing your atmosphere, removing distractions, pruning conversations, quieting chaos so that when He finally speaks again, you will know it's Him. The silence before the storm is a holy pause. It is the final calm before movement. The inhale before heaven exhales miracles. Do not mistake stillness for stagnation. Beneath the surface, everything is shifting. Promises are aligning. Angels are positioning. And favor is gathering momentum. You may not hear it, but heaven's construction never stops. There is something sacred happening inside of you. You are learning to walk by faith, not by feedback. You are learning that God's silence is not His rejection, but His way of solidifying your roots. When He finally releases what He's preparing, you won't crumble, because you've learned how to stand without constant reassurance. Let this truth settle into your heart. Silence is not empty. It is full of divine activity. Every moment you've spent in waiting has been recorded in eternity. The world might seize stillness, but heaven says obedience. That's why you must not rush out of this quiet season. Let patience finish its work. The storm that's coming isn't meant to destroy you, it's meant to reveal you. The same way a seed must stay buried before it breaks forth. You too are being transformed beneath the surface. The darkness around you is simply the soil of destiny. Don't panic when you can't see growth. Heaven is doing its work in secret. Chosen one. This pause won't last forever. The whispers of God are gathering into wind. Soon, what felt like silence will erupt into sound doors, opening, hearts softening, opportunities aligning. But for now, stay still, breathe, let peace anchor you in the waiting. And when your mind tries to convince you that nothing's happening, remember Elijah's lesson: the Lord wasn't in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire. He was in the whisper. You are hearing Him now, in ways you couldn't before. That whisper is your confirmation. If you can feel this truth resonating within your spirit, if you sense that heaven is working in your silence, then declare it aloud as an act of agreement. Type in the comments, "I still trust." Oh, write it not as repetition, but as revelation. When you say, "I still trust," you are aligning with heaven's rhythm. You're telling every doubt, every fear, every unseen adversary that silence will not shake your faith. You are declaring that even when heaven whispers, you still obey. And when you make that declaration publicly, it becomes a seal in the spirit, a mark of endurance that darkness cannot erase. So hold steady, chosen one. Heaven's quietness is not the end, it's the edge of something divine. Soon, the whisper will turn into a wind that carries you where you were always meant to be. The world has been feeding you a diluted gospel. Chosen one, somewhere along the way, the truth about your calling got buried beneath comfort. You were taught to chase blessings, not burdens, to seek favor, not fire. But the real calling of a chosen one is not luxury, it is labor. It is not popularity, it is purpose. The truth that the church forgot is that being chosen does not mean being celebrated. It means being set apart, refined, and sent into the wilderness so others can one day find the way home. Long before you were born, Your destiny was written into the eternal plan of God, yet over generations. Religion replaced revelation. The message of sacrifice was replaced with slogans of success. The pulpit became a platform for performance rather than a place of prophetic instruction. But heaven is stirring again, awakening a remnant that refuses to trade truth for applause, and you are part of that remnant. The reason your spirit feels restless when you hear watered-down words is because your spirit recognizes hunger. You don't need more hype, you crave holiness. You don't want empty promises of easy favor, you want the fire of transformation. That hunger inside you is evidence that heaven has awakened something ancient, something that cannot be entertained into silence. The prophet Amos once cried out that there would come a famine, not of bread or water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. That famine is here. Many gather in the name of faith, but leave empty because the word has been filtered through fear and tradition. But you, chosen one, were not made to starve. You were designed to carry fresh bread from heaven. That is why God has been purifying your motives and shaking your foundations, because you will carry truth, not trends. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 3. Man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Altar. Those words aren't poetic, they are prophetic. They reveal that your sustenance isn't physical comfort, it's divine communication. You've been feeling spiritually hungry because the food of this world can no longer satisfy your spirit. You were never meant to survive on crumbs of convenience. The chosen are sustained by revelation, not reputation. Understand this. The reason you've been stripped of certain supports and systems is because God is reteaching you how to depend on His voice. The church may have forgotten this truth, but heaven hasn't. The true measure of a believer isn't how loudly they shout in public, but how quietly they obey in private. God is restoring that discipline in you. Every delay, every closed door, every silent night has been retraining your appetite. You are learning to crave the word again, not opinions, not trends, not noise, but truth. You've been called to rebuild what others abandoned. Your faith is the blueprint for the next generation. Heaven is looking for those who won't compromise for comfort, who won't edit the message to avoid offense, who will carry the raw fire of truth even when it burns away their reputation. That's you. You are being forged in honesty because your words will one day awaken those who are asleep in religion. The real gospel isn't about avoiding storms, it's about finding purpose within them. It isn't about gaining the world, it's about losing yourself to find eternity. You are being positioned to restore that lost message. The truth you carry will disrupt the counterfeit peace around you. But don't be afraid. Every revival begins with discomfort. Every awakening starts with someone who refuses to be silent. So when you look around and see a world more fascinated with appearance than anointing, remember, you are being called to live differently. You are being asked to live as evidence that truth still transforms. You may be misunderstood by those who prefer comfort, but heaven is watching, and history is waiting. Let the forgotten truth rise again within you. God never promised the chosen an easy path. He promised presence, not popularity, purpose, not passivity. The fire that burns in you isn't anger, it's awakening. It's the call to remember what others have forgotten. One day soon, your obedience will be the bridge for others to find truth again. But for now, stay hidden in devotion. Keep your altar burning, even when others let theirs go cold. Heaven hasn't forgotten what the world ignored. The truth you carry is about to find its voice again through you. There's a reason you've battled confusion about who you are. Chosen one. The enemy has been running a quiet misinformation campaign against your identity since the day you were born. It started subtly through words spoken over you that planted doubt, through moments that made you question your worth, through comparisons that told you you'd never measure up. But what's really been happening is this. Darkness has been trying to rewrite the script that heaven wrote about you. You see, identity is the first battlefield of every chosen one. If the enemy can make you forget who you are, he doesn't need to destroy you because you'll do it yourself through unbelief. That's why your confidence has been attacked. That's why you've felt unworthy of what God promised. You've been walking through a war that's invisible but real. A war not for your body, but for your blueprint. From the beginning, the serpent didn't attack Eve with force, but with distortion. Did God really say? That same whisper still echoes today. Every lie that tells you you're too broken, too late, too ordinary, that's the enemy's version of the same question. It's not just an insult, it's a strategy. Because if you doubt what God said about you, you'll never step into what He prepared for you. But listen closely now. Chosen one, heaven is breaking the spell of false identity off of you. The truth is coming back into focus. The fog that made you feel unqualified is lifting. You are not what they called you. You are what God named you. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 2, verse 10, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." You were handcrafted, not mass-produced. Heaven didn't make you on an assembly line. It shaped you in stillness, with detail and intention. That's why no one else moves like you, speaks like you, dreams like you. You are an original blueprint with a divine watermark. And the enemy knows that once you start walking in that awareness, you become unstoppable. Think of yourself like a lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't move, but it still guides ships through storms. It doesn't shout, it shines. You are that steady light. Even when waves crash around you, the darkness wants to make you doubt your purpose. But light never negotiates with the ocean. It just shines until the lost find direction. Maybe you've been told your light is too bright, your voice too intense, your faith too much. But you were never meant to dim down, you were meant to reveal. Every chosen one carries something disruptive, something that unsettles darkness simply by existing. That's why people who can't discern your purpose often misunderstand your presence. But don't apologize for being radiant in a world that prefers shadows. Think of your life like a song heaven composed. Pain. Each delay, each tear was a note written by divine hands. The melody may not always make sense to you now, but one day it will play in perfect harmony. And when it does, every wrong chord will suddenly sound like part of the plan. You've been walking through confusion, but God is turning distortion into direction. The same lies that were sent to silence, you will become testimonies of truth. When you rise, others will remember how many times you fell, and they will see grace in motion. Chosen one. If this message resonates in your heart, let it breathe out into the world. Someone else is fighting the same war for identity, waiting for a reminder that they are not forgotten. Let your small act of sharing be like lighting another candle in the dark. So, if this word stirred something in you, take a moment, pause, breathe, and help it travel. Like a message in a bottle, send it across the digital ocean. Share it, like it, and subscribe, not for vanity, but because someone out there is drifting and your ripple could reach them. Each click is like casting another net of light across the water. Somewhere, another soul will find their way home because you chose not to stay silent. Remember, the misinformation ends here. The truth of who you are begins now. You are heaven's evidence, God's message made of flesh, a carrier of clarity in a world lost in confusion. Walk in that truth. Let your light speak louder than any lie. There comes a moment, chosen one, when heaven can wait no longer, when the weight of delayed obedience begins to press against the patience of God. You felt it lately, a holy tension, a stirring deep in your chest that refuses to let you rest. It's as if heaven itself has been whispering, "Now, move, now." This is that moment, the breaking point of heaven. For too long, mercy has been your covering. Grace has been your shelter. But heaven is shifting from protection to propulsion. You can feel it every time you try to go back to what no longer fits. Every time you attempt to silence that inner calling, something inside of you burns. It is the ache of divine urgency, the sound of heaven knocking at the door of your will. Chosen one. Heaven is not angry with you. It's pleading with you. Every delay in your obedience keeps a chain on your destiny. Every time you say, "Not yet," a part of heaven sighs, because it knows what could be unleashed if you simply said, "Yes." There are miracles waiting on your movement. There are people attached to your obedience. When you move, entire generations shift with you. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 15. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on." Do you see it? Chosen one, even in Scripture. Heaven has a threshold, a point where prayer must become action. You've prayed, you've wept, you've waited, but now heaven is saying, "Move." The Red Sea didn't part while Moses was crying. It parted when he stretched his hand in obedience. Your sea is waiting for your motion. You've been standing at the edge of breakthrough, but hesitation has held your feet. It's not fear of failure that stops you, it's fear of faith. Because faith requires you to step before you see. But that's what makes you chosen. You weren't called to walk by sight, you were chosen to move by command. Heaven is pressing right now because divine timing is converging. There are seasons when God allows delay, but there are also windows when obedience must be immediate. You're standing in one of those windows now. The longer you wait, the heavier the silence becomes. It's not condemnation, it's conviction. And conviction is mercy's final invitation before opportunity shifts to someone else. This isn't about punishment, it's about participation. Heaven wants to include you in what it's about to do on earth. That's why your spirit has felt unsettled. The same way a pregnant mother can feel the baby kick when it's time. Your spirit is feeling the contraction of calling. You've been carrying a divine assignment. And heaven is saying, push. Everything in your life has been leading to this moment. The disappointments, the detours, the delays. You had to walk through waiting so that when you finally obeyed, you would do it with full surrender. not half-hearted faith. The season of uncertainty was training your discernment. Now the command is clear: move. Heaven's breaking point isn't wrath, it's love that refuses to let you stay small. You've been asking for a sign, and this is it. The resistance you feel isn't meant to discourage you. It's the spiritual pressure of destiny calling you higher. Chosen one. God is not angry at your slowness. He is patient. But patience has a prophetic expiration date. There comes a time when continued delay becomes disobedience, and disobedience becomes blindness. Don't let that happen to you. Don't miss the moment because you're waiting for comfort. The comfort will come after the obedience. Think of a seed. It cannot remain intact and grow at the same time. It must break to bring forth life. That breaking is what you're feeling now. The soil of your spirit is cracking because something divine is ready to emerge. Don't resist it. Heaven is counting on your surrender. So this is the call. Let your yes be louder than your fear. Let obedience speak louder than excuses. Don't wait for perfect timing. Obedience is the perfect timing. The miracle you've been praying for is already written into your next act of faith. If you can feel this truth pressing on your heart, if you know heaven has been waiting on your movement, then respond right now. Do something prophetic. Type in the comments 888, the number of new beginnings, symbolizing that you are stepping into the next divine cycle. When you type it, you are declaring, I move with heaven. You are aligning your spirit with divine timing. Don't underestimate this act. It's not superstition. It's symbolism. Every physical action of faith releases spiritual momentum. Chosen one. This is your moment. Heaven has reached its breaking point, and grace is waiting on your decision. Don't stay where you are. Move. There are moments in history when heaven shares secrets only with the few who dare to listen beyond the noise. You are one of those few. Chosen one. What's being revealed now is not common knowledge. It's insider information from the throne room. While the world argues, debates, and distracts itself with chaos, the Spirit has been whispering instructions to the remnant. Those who have ears to hear are beginning to understand that something unprecedented is unfolding. You've noticed it. The spiritual atmosphere feels heavier, like the air before a storm. The systems of the world are shifting, and the lines between truth and deception are blurring. But heaven is not surprised. It is preparing its insiders, the chosen ones, to navigate the confusion with divine clarity. You have been feeling spiritual downloads in your dreams, sudden bursts of discernment, strange confirmations through numbers, words, or encounters. These are not coincidences. They are coded communications from heaven, guiding you in a time of hidden warfare. The Apostle John recorded something remarkable about this kind of revelation. He said that when the Spirit of truth comes, it will guide us into all truth, not just spiritual truth, but the truth behind what the world hides. This is that time. God is exposing not just sin, but systems, not just individuals, but institutions. The shaking that's happening globally is not chaos, it's cleansing. Chosen one. That's why you've been feeling like you can't participate in certain things anymore. Heaven is filtering your environment. The Spirit won't let you blend into the crowd because revelation requires separation. You are being pulled away from shallow voices so that you can hear the still, strategic voice of God. Don't fight the isolation. It's intelligence training. The Apostle reminds us in the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 2, Verse 10. But God has revealed them unto us by his Spirit, for the Spirit searches all things. Yea, the deep things of God. Oh, do you see it? The Spirit is a searchlight, moving through the darkness, revealing what eyes cannot see. That's what's happening in your life right now. Heaven is searching you, refining your discernment, and downloading information for what's ahead. That sudden sense that something big is coming, it's not paranoia, it's perception. You're tuned to frequencies others ignore. The insider leak isn't about human secrets, it's about divine timing. Heaven is revealing who is real, who is ready, and who is merely rehearsing. The masks are falling, both in the world and in the church. This revelation will be uncomfortable. It will expose pretenders, uncover motives, and separate faith from familiarity. But you, chosen one, are being equipped to stand steady when truth starts shaking everything that can be shaken. That's why your discernment has grown sharper. You can sense when words carry light or when they're wrapped in shadow. You can walk into a room and feel what's wrong without anyone speaking. You're not imagining it. You've been trained for this. Heaven's intelligence network is made of hearts that listen, not minds that analyze. Your sensitivity is not weakness, it's your assignment. There will be moments when what God shows you will not make sense to others. You might try to explain it, and they'll look at you like you've lost your mind. Don't be discouraged. Insiders are rarely understood by outsiders. Your obedience in secrecy will become confirmation in public when time reveals what heaven already told you. Right now, God is forming a hidden alliance of believers, people scattered across nations who carry the same inner knowing, who wake up with the same urgency. They don't all speak the same language, but they share the same spirit. You are one of them. You have been receiving intelligence for the coming move of God. Pay attention to what has been recurring lately, the verses that won't leave your mind, the dreams that repeat, the phrases that echo. These are clues. Heaven doesn't repeat itself for no reason. Every repetition is revelation, calling for recognition. Write it down. Pray over it. Guard it. What you record in private will become what you release in public when the time is right. And remember, heaven's insiders are never chosen for pride, but for purpose. Revelation without humility becomes rebellion. That's why God has been crushing your ego before increasing your insight. He wants you pure enough to handle what he's about to show. Some truths are so heavy that only surrendered hearts can carry them. So stay low. Stay listening. Stay teachable. Heaven's secrets are safest in humble vessels. What's being revealed to you now will not only protect you, it will prepare you. For when the storm breaks and confusion spreads, you will already have the map heaven sent. And when others panic, you will simply move, calm, clear, and confident, because you already received the insider update. You've often wondered why you could never blend in, why, no matter how hard you tried, you always stood out in ways you didn't want to. You loved deeply, gave freely, served faithfully, and yet, somehow, reaction kept finding you. People labeled you strange, intense, too spiritual, too sensitive, or too serious. They mistook your discernment for pride and your compassion for weakness. But the truth is, chosen one, you were marked long before they misunderstood you. What you've been living is not coincidence, it's prophecy. There's a mark that heaven places on those it intends to use greatly. It's invisible to the eye, but undeniable in the spirit. It makes you stand out in rooms where you wish you could hide. It draws favor and warfare in equal measure. It causes you to attract people who need healing and repel those who fear truth. You've been walking with that mark since the beginning, though you may not have known its name. It is the mark of the misfit, the divine distinction that separates those chosen for purpose from those content with comfort. Every prophet, every reformer, every carrier of revelation wore it. Moses felt it when his own people rejected him. David bore it when he was left in the fields, while others were chosen first. Jeremiah carried it when his words were mocked. Even Jesus himself was despised and rejected of men, not because he lacked love, but because his presence exposed what people preferred to ignore. Rejection is often the confirmation of divine selection. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 118, verse 22, "The stone which the builders rejected has become the cornerstone." End for. That verse isn't just ancient poetry, it's your story. You are that stone. The very things about you that made others overlook. You are the same things heaven is about to use as foundation for something new. The rejection wasn't punishment, it was positioning. If you had been accepted everywhere, you would have settled too soon. The closed doors you cried about were divine redirections, saving you from small places that could not hold your purpose. There is a sacred irony in the way heaven works. The misfits of the earth are the blueprints of heaven. What the world calls too much, God calls just enough. Your sensitivity, your empathy, your spiritual awareness, they are not flaws, they are tools. You were wired differently because your assignment is different. You see what others overlook, feel what others suppress, and discern what others deny. That's why it has always been hard for you to find belonging. You were never meant to fit in, you were meant to stand out as evidence that heaven still chooses the unlikely. The loneliness you've felt has been training ground. The silence you've endured has been your classroom. You have been learning to hear God without needing validation from men. You've been trained to keep walking, even when clapping stopped. Every season of isolation has been preparing you for a revelation that cannot be taught in crowds. You have learned what only solitude can reveal, that your worth is not determined by who sees you, but by who sent you. There were times when you begged God to make you normal, to let you blend in, to quiet the fire inside you. You thought something was wrong with you because others seemed so content with shallow living. But God whispered, "I didn't create you to fit in. I created you to stand apart." The ache of rejection was heaven's way of cutting the cords that tied you to conformity. Chosen one. Every time you were left out, you were being led deeper in. The friendships that faded, the opportunities that vanished, the groups that excluded you, they all played their part in pushing you toward divine dependence. You learned how to walk with God without needing an audience. You discovered that peace is stronger than popularity. And somewhere in that process, your identity stopped, depending on who accepted you. That's the transformation of a misfit becoming a messenger. The mark you carry is not a curse, it is a commission. It means your life will rarely follow predictable patterns. You won't always understand why certain things work for others but not for you. The reason is simple. Your path is customized. What breaks others builds you. What confuses others clarifies you. Every detour is designed. Every heartbreak has hidden strategy. Even your pain has been prophetic. The betrayals taught you discernment. The loneliness sharpened your vision. The seasons of silence birthed spiritual strength. You were not abandoned, you were anointed in private. Heaven trusted you with the wilderness because it knew you would not worship the idols of comfort. And now, you stand at a turning point. The years of rejection have shaped your resilience. The misfit has become the messenger. You've stopped asking, "Why me?" and started whispering, "Use me." That shift is what heaven has been waiting for. Because once you stop chasing acceptance, you become unstoppable. You've been wondering why God placed you in environments that felt hostile, in spaces that drained your spirit, around people who couldn't see your light. You thought it was punishment, maybe even a mistake. But heaven doesn't misplace its warriors, it positions them. What you call discomfort, heaven calls deployment. You have been planted, not punished. You are part of a divine infiltration, a spiritual spy network sent into places where light has long been absent. There are people in your life who will never walk into a church, never read the scriptures, never listen to a sermon. And so heaven sent you as the sermon. Your presence alone is a message, your patience is a prophecy, your integrity is intercession. You've been walking among the broken, not to become like them, but to remind them what healing looks like. You are heaven's undercover agent, sent to love without losing your identity, to endure without adopting the environment. This is why you've been feeling the tension lately, the pull between who you used to be and who you're becoming. You are living in two realities, the one around you and the one within you. Every chosen one feels this strain. You were built for heaven but sent to earth. That dual citizenship is not confusion, it's calling. You are stationed in enemy territory, carrying the codes of the kingdom. The prophet Daniel knew this feeling well. He lived surrounded by compromise, yet refused to bow. He worked within Babylon's system, but never absorbed its spirit. You are walking a similar path. Heaven has entrusted you with influence, not comfort. Your workplace, your classroom, your home. They are all battlegrounds disguised as ordinary spaces. Every day you step into them, the atmosphere shifts. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 21, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." That is your mission statement. Chosen one, you're not there to curse the darkness, you're there to outshine it. Evil loses when you refuse to mirror it. Every time you choose peace over revenge, love over bitterness, truth over silence, you are dismantling hell's strategy, one act at a time. But understand this, undercover missions come with pressure. You'll often feel unseen, unappreciated, and misunderstood. Even those you're sent to help might turn against you. That's part of the assignment. Heaven doesn't need your comfort, it needs your consistency. When you remain kind in chaos, the spiritual realm trembles. When you pray for those who betrayed you, the kingdom advances. Every act of obedience behind enemy lines becomes a signal flare that heaven can see. Don't underestimate what happens when you show up. The enemy does. He fears your endurance more than your eloquence. You might think your small acts of faith go unnoticed, but angels record every moment. Heaven builds victory from hidden obedience. And yes, you've asked, God, why me? Because not everyone could survive where you've been sent. It takes someone with a forged spirit, someone who knows pain but still chooses purpose. You have walked through temptation, and didn't surrender. You've been surrounded by compromise, but refused to blend in. You have fought unseen wars and still kept your worship intact. That's what makes you dangerous to darkness. Think of yourself as a candle in a cave. The cave mocks the light, saying, "You're too small to matter." But even a single flame can make the shadows retreat. You may not see the full impact of your light now, but heaven measures victory differently. Sometimes saving one person, restoring one soul, or speaking one word of truth in a dying place is the entire purpose of a lifetime. And remember this, spies don't always get recognition. They finish missions quietly, their success known only to the commander. You may never receive public applause for your obedience, but heaven keeps perfect records. Every moment you resisted, compromise. Every time you prayed instead of panicked. Every quiet yes has been noted in eternity. So, when you feel tired of fighting invisible battles, remind yourself, you are not alone. There are other chosen ones stationed around the world, silent warriors carrying similar burdens. You're part of something larger than you realize. A divine network of faith woven through generations. Now, if your spirit recognizes this truth, if you felt the weight of being hidden yet useful, weary yet willing, make a declaration. Type in the comments, "I'm still standing." Because when you say, "I'm still standing," you're not boasting, you're testifying. You're telling every demonic force that tried to break you, you failed. You're letting heaven know, "I'm still in position." And when your fingers type those words, it becomes a signal in the spirit realm, another flare rising from your battlefield, telling heaven that its soldier has not surrendered. Hold your ground. Chosen one. Your cover might stay low, but your impact echoes in eternity. The mission continues, and heaven is proud of you. Can you feel it? Chosen one, the ground beneath your life is trembling. The patterns that once seemed unshakable are beginning to crack. What was stable yesterday feels uncertain today. Systems are collapsing, economic, emotional, spiritual. But don't be afraid. What looks like destruction is actually divine reconstruction. The old world is folding in on itself so that something new can rise. You are not witnessing the end, you are witnessing a reset. For years, the foundations of falsehood have been trembling under the weight of truth. The systems built on greed, deception, and fear can no longer sustain themselves. Even in your personal life, you felt the collapse of things you once depended on, relationships that no longer align, jobs that suddenly lost meaning, habits that feel hollow. Now, this is heaven's controlled demolition. God is removing what can't carry you into your next season. The prophet Isaiah wrote about this kind of divine collapse and rebirth. He declared that God would shake everything that could be shaken, so that what is eternal might remain. You, chosen one, are part of that unshakable remnant. The shaking isn't to destroy you, it's to separate the temporary from the timeless within you. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 5, "Look among the nations and watch, be utterly amazed, for I am doing something in your days you would not believe." That's what's happening now. Heaven is doing something unbelievable, tearing down old systems to make space for new structures of light. You are one of the builders of this new order. That's why your life has felt like a construction site, loud, messy, unpredictable. But remember, When God builds, He first clears the ground. He doesn't construct on unstable soil. It's natural to grieve what's collapsing. We often mistake comfort for security, but comfort is just familiarity dressed as peace. What's falling apart in your life isn't failing, it's freeing you. The collapse of the old is the call of the new. Heaven can't pour new wine into old skins. The pressure you feel is expansion. Your spirit is outgrowing what once contained it. Think of a butterfly's cocoon. To the outside world, it looks like death, silent, dark, still. But inside, transformation is happening at a molecular level. The creature that entered the cocoon doesn't exist anymore. And that's precisely the point. You are in that cocoon season. Heaven is rewriting your structure. What emerges won't be an improved version of your old self. It will be something entirely new. The system collapse you're witnessing globally mirrors what's happening within you personally. God is tearing down false confidence and replacing it with faith, stripping away shallow ambition and replacing it with purpose. The noise of the world is increasing, but your spirit is being trained to find silence in the storm. This inner stillness will be your superpower in the days ahead. There's a story heaven is writing through you. Imagine your life as a field after harvest bare, quiet, waiting. It may seem empty, but the soil is resting, preparing for the next planting. That's what this collapse is, rest before renewal. Heaven has allowed the old version of you to fade because the next version requires deeper roots. The world calls it chaos, but heaven calls it calibration. You are being tuned to the right frequency. Every disappointment, every ending, every unexpected turn is adjusting your internal compass toward divine direction. When the dust settles, those who have built their lives on superficial strength will crumble, but you will remain rooted, grounded, unshaken. And when you rise from this season, your voice will carry authority. You'll speak peace into panic, hope into confusion, order into disorder. People will come to you, asking how you stood when everything else fell. You'll smile, because you'll know the truth. It wasn't your strength that kept you. It was the hand of the architect who never leaves a structure unfinished. Chosen one. If this message resonates, if you can see yourself in the midst of this holy collapse, don't let the moment pass quietly. Be part of the rebuilding. Each time you share this word, you're not just clicking a button, you're laying another brick of light in a world that's learning to rebuild from ruins. So if this speaks to your heart, take a small act of faith, like, share, and subscribe, not for numbers, but for connection. Every share is a spark, like tossing another torch into the darkness. Another voice saying, we're still building, somewhere out there. Another weary soul will see that light, and remember that collapse doesn't mean conclusion. The storm may be loud, but the architect is still working. You are not crumbling. You are being constructed. Keep standing. Keep shining. And remember, what is falling away was never meant to hold eternity. There are promises, chosen one, that have slept inside your spirit for years, prophecies you received long ago, dreams that once burned bright but slowly dimmed as time passed. You held onto them tightly at first. But the delays, the detours, the disappointments made you wonder if you had misunderstood. You started to whisper to yourself, maybe I heard wrong. Maybe that season is over. But listen carefully now. Heaven is reopening those ancient files. The covenant you thought was buried is stirring again. The fire is being rekindled. You've come through the storm, through the silence, through the breaking. Now, heaven is ready to reactivate what it once declared over your life. The same God who made the promise is breathing on it again, not a new word, but a renewed one. He is resurrecting the covenant. Every true promise goes through 3 seasons: the birth, the burial, and the breakthrough. First comes excitement, the prophecy, the vision, the clear voice of God calling you. Then comes burial, when everything contradicts what you heard. Finally comes breakthrough, when the promise re-emerges, purified by time. You are standing at the edge of that 3rd season right now. Heaven has been waiting for this alignment. Every delay was recalibration. The prayers you thought went unanswered were being answered in a deeper dimension. Heaven was not saying, no. It was saying, not yet. The difference matters, because now, the yet has arrived. The prophet Isaiah once wrote of this moment, a time when old words suddenly awaken as if they'd just been spoken. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah. Chapter 55, verse 11. So shall my word be that goes forth from my mouth. It shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent it. Lon, those words mean that nothing God has promised you has expired. Prophetic words don't die, they wait. They hover in the air, circling the atmosphere of your life until faith pulls them back down. What you felt fading wasn't God's promise, it was your patience being tested. The word has been alive all along, waiting for divine timing to release manifestation. Think of it like a seed buried deep in winter. You can't see it, but the soil hasn't forgotten. The cold didn't kill it, it was preparing it. When the right season comes, when warmth and water meet, the seed awakens. That's what's happening to your promises now. The soil of your struggle has finally reached its perfect temperature. The covenant is breaking through. You'll begin to notice small signs first: unexpected favor, sudden reminders of things you used to dream about, old ideas resurfacing with new power. These are not coincidences. They are divine hints that the promise is alive again. The same dreams that once frustrated you will now fuel you. The same words that once felt heavy will feel like wings. Don't be surprised if your spirit feels both excited and nervous. The awakening of a covenant always comes with trembling. You've been dormant for so long that movement feels unfamiliar. But trust the process. The shaking you feel inside isn't fear, it's reactivation. Heaven is reattaching you to assignments that seemed lost. Chosen one. The reason God allowed the promise to rest for a while was to prepare you. If He had given it earlier, your foundation couldn't have held it. You needed to learn wisdom before influence, character before calling, surrender before success. The delay was divine design. The waiting seasoned your soul, and now the covenant is not coming back the same, it's coming back refined. It will fit who you've become, not who you used to be. Heaven doesn't recycle promises, it upgrades them. What was once just a word will now become a world. When this new phase begins, don't rush to announce it. Let the fruit speak. The world will notice the glow before you ever post the news. You won't need validation. Your manifestation will be your evidence. Hold this truth close. God never forgets what He promises. Time may change circumstances, but it cannot erase divine intent. Every prophecy attached to your name is alive, waiting for your readiness. The covenant is rekindled, the fire reignited, the word returning full of power. The same hand that wrote your destiny in light is now turning the page again. Prepare your heart. The promises are waking up, and they remember your name. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey when heaven sends a final confirmation, a divine test transmission. It comes quietly, often when you least expect it. You might hear it through a sermon, a dream, or a message like this one. It's the gentle but unmistakable signal that says, "This is it. Move now. Don't hesitate." You are standing in that very moment right now. You've felt the tension, haven't you? That internal tug of war between faith and fear, between the safety of what's known and the call of what's next. Heaven has been speaking in whispers, urging you to act, to step into what's already prepared. Yet part of you has hesitated, not from rebellion, but from uncertainty. You keep asking, "Lord, is it really you?" But the truth is, you already know it is. You just want another confirmation. This is that confirmation. Every divine assignment reaches a tipping point where waiting becomes disobedience. Heaven won't force your hand, it will test your heart. You've been given all the signs, all the provisions, all the clarity. What's missing isn't instruction, it's initiation. The door is open, but you must walk through it. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." That peace you've been feeling beneath the noise, that quiet knowing, is your confirmation. It's the green light of heaven. Peace is not the absence of pressure, it's the presence of permission. When God wants you to move, He doesn't always send a trumpet, He sends peace. Think of a pilot flying through fog. The runway is invisible, but the control tower gives the signal, "You are cleared for landing." The pilot doesn't wait to see the ground, he trusts the voice. That's what heaven is asking of you now. You are cleared for landing. It's time to trust the tower, not the turbulence. You've been trained for this moment. Every trial, every disappointment, every closed door was part of your simulator, teaching you how to fly by faith. You know how to hear God now, how to discern the difference between impulse and instruction. That wisdom is your wings. Don't let fear convince you they're too fragile to use. Chosen one. The divine test is not to see if you'll fail, it's to reveal that you're ready. Heaven already knows you can handle what's coming. It's waiting for you to believe it too. Every test from God carries an invitation to trust deeper. It's not about performance, it's about partnership. And yes, the enemy will try to mimic the voice of God in this moment. Confusion will come disguised as caution. But here's how you'll know the difference. God's voice brings peace even when it challenges you. The enemy's voice brings fear even when it flatters you. Choose the voice that stills your soul, not the one that stirs your anxiety. You're not stepping into uncertainty, you're stepping into orchestration. The pieces you've been worried about are already aligned. The people you need are being positioned. The resources are already waiting in the next step. You won't see them until you move. Because provision follows obedience, not the other way around. Remember Abraham, he didn't see the ram until he lifted the knife. Remember Peter, he didn't walk on water until he stepped out of the boat. Every miracle waits on movement. The test is never about ability, it's always about trust. This is your test transmission, your divine broadcast. The same God who guided you through silence is now saying, "Go." You've prayed for confirmation, and heaven has answered. The next move is yours. If this word is resonating deep within you, if something inside says, "This is me, this is my time," then seal it with a prophetic act. Type in the comments, 4,444, the number of divine alignment, the symbol that heaven's order is converging with your obedience. When you type it, you're not just entering digits, you're declaring, "I'm aligned with the plan. I'm ready for the next assignment." Each 4 represents foundation north, south, east, and west, meaning that God is surrounding you completely. This isn't random, it's rhythm. Heaven moves through patterns, and you're stepping into one right now, chosen one. The test transmission has been sent, and your spirit has received it. The message is clear: move, trust, obey. The next chapter won't begin until you turn the page. Don't let hesitation hold you hostage. The peace you feel is proof you're ready. Heaven has spoken. Now it's your turn to respond. There's a peculiar kind of loneliness that settles over the chosen ones before God reveals their next chapter. It's not the loneliness of abandonment, it's the loneliness of transition. You can feel it, can't you? That strange quiet in your friendships. The sudden distance between you and people who once understood you so easily. It's not that you've done something wrong, it's that your frequency has changed. You are vibrating on a wavelength that not everyone around you can hear anymore. Heaven has been rearranging your circle, gently separating you from noise disguised as companionship. You've been walking through a sacred isolation. The calls stopped. The conversations dried up. The invitations slowed. And though part of you aches for the warmth of community, another part of you knows something deeper. God is preparing you for a different kind of connection. You are not being abandoned, you are being gathered. This loneliness is the sign of a gathering storm, not a storm of destruction, but of destiny. Heaven is summoning the remnant. Across the world, scattered souls like you are feeling the same pull. You don't know each other yet, but you're all hearing the same frequency in your spirit, the sound of gathering. The chosen ones are being drawn together. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 10. "So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath entered them. They came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast army." That's what heaven is doing now, breathing life into dry places, calling scattered bones to rise and connect. You are part of that army. One bone among many, one light among thousands. The separation you've endured was preparation for alignment. God is positioning you to find those who carry the same spiritual DNA. The gatherings won't always be in churches or conferences. Sometimes they'll happen in unexpected places. A shared glance, a message exchanged online, a quiet conversation that instantly feels divine. You'll recognize them not by appearance, but by resonance. When two chosen ones meet, their spirits recognize each other before their minds do. It feels like coming home to a place you've never been. For too long, you've tried to build with those who didn't understand your language. You spoke of vision, they spoke of comfort. You spoke of transformation, they wanted routine. Heaven had to separate you to preserve your fire. The loneliness you felt was divine protection, keeping your heart from being diluted by the wrong alliances. Now, a new kind of companionship is forming, the kind rooted not in convenience, but in covenant. You will begin to notice people entering your life who carry confirmation, not competition. They will see your anointing and not be threatened by it. They will hold your hands in prayer instead of holding you back with fear. These are your tribe, the ones who have also been through fire and found faith. This gathering isn't about numbers, it's about power. When chosen ones connect, heaven multiplies their reach. One light can illuminate a room, but a network of lights can ignite a city. The enemy knows this, which is why he has fought so hard to isolate you, to make you believe you're the only one who feels this way. But you're not alone. The others are awakening. 2. You can almost feel them in the spirit, scattered, waiting, ready. The loneliness will begin to lift soon. The emptiness you felt will turn into anticipation, where silence used to echo. You'll start to sense movement. Divine connections are forming even now. Heaven is weaving threads between you and others who share your calling. You don't have to chase them. Alignment is attraction in motion. Remember, though, the gathering of the few is not for comfort, it's for combat. God is building a unified front, an invisible army of light. You're not being grouped for social convenience, but for spiritual purpose. When you meet these people, something inside you will awaken a deeper level of courage, creativity, and conviction. You'll realize that what you've been carrying was never meant to be shouldered alone. You are a torchbearer, being linked to other flames. Together, you'll form a fire line that no darkness can cross. And as this gathering grows, you'll notice how everything begins to make sense. The isolation, the pruning, the long wait. Heaven never wastes pain, it always repurposes it. So don't curse the loneliness. Chosen one. It's not punishment, it's prophecy. The ache in your soul is heaven's call to assembly. What you lost in companionship, you're about to gain in covenant. And when the gathering is complete, when the remnant stands shoulder to shoulder, you will understand that what felt like exile was actually recruitment. You were never alone. You were just early. The moment you said yes to your calling, chosen one, heaven marked you and hell noticed. That's why the warfare intensified. You thought obedience would make life easier, but in truth, it made you visible. When you decided to walk in light, you became a target in the spirit. But don't misunderstand this. The attacks didn't come to destroy you, they came to confirm that you carry glory. Every chosen one discovers that obedience attracts both favor and fire. The moment you align with heaven, the atmosphere around you begins to shift. Old patterns collapse. Hidden enemies reveal themselves, and familiar comforts turn cold. It's not coincidence, it's spiritual cause and effect. The closer you move toward your destiny, the louder the resistance becomes. But resistance is the proof that something valuable is being guarded. You've probably noticed that your battles lately have been more intense, more personal. The delays seem longer, the disappointments sharper, the loneliness deeper. And yet, somehow, you're still standing. That's not ordinary strength, that's divine reinforcement. Every battle you faced has been measured, allowed, and overseen by heaven itself. God never lets a storm touch his chosen without purpose. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17, "For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, works for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. Ken, did you hear that? Chosen one, your pain is producing weight, glory weight. It's forging a capacity in you that comfort never could. Each sleepless night, each tear, each unanswered question is contributing to something eternal. Glory isn't cheap, it's refined through fire. You can't carry divine power without first enduring divine pressure. The reason your warfare has been so relentless is because the anointing on your life has grown heavier. Heaven trusts you with more, and hell fears you for it. What others call bad luck is actually backlash from the spirit world. The darkness that once ignored you now trembles because your obedience has authority. Think of it like this: when oil is poured on a warrior's head, it's not for decoration, it's for battle. The anointing you carry isn't ornamental, it's operational. It gives you the power to stand where others fall, to discern truth where others see confusion, to love even when it hurts. That's why you've been attacked in your emotions, your relationships, your mind. The enemy knows that if he can drain your faith, he can delay your fruit, but he can't stop what's been sealed. Chosen one, your struggles are not random. They are specific to your assignment. If you weren't carrying something precious, you wouldn't be under such pressure. Every fiery trial has been training your hands for war. You've learned how to pray through pain, how to praise through exhaustion, how to worship when nothing made sense. Those lessons are weapons now. You don't just survive storms anymore, you command them. Heaven compensates obedience with power. The more you surrender, the stronger you become. Every time you choose humility over pride, you rise higher in authority. Every time you forgive when you could have fought back, heaven increases your capacity. Every time you obey quietly, even when no one notices, God entrusts you with more influence in the unseen realm. You've been growing in secret, and soon the results will be undeniable. Don't let temporary pain convince you that eternal glory isn't real. You're not losing, you're being layered. Every trial has added depth. Every heartbreak has added holiness. You're being constructed into a vessel that can carry what's coming. When the power of God moves in your life next, it won't crush you, it will crown you. You may not see it yet, but even your scars are shining. Every wound that bled is now reflecting light. That's the mystery of glory. The very places that hurt the most become the places God inhabits most deeply. Your tears have watered a garden you haven't even walked through yet. And when the season shifts, the harvest will make every battle worth it. Chosen one, never forget, heaven never wastes suffering. Every fire you've faced has burned away something that couldn't go with you. Every loss was a lifting. Every closed door was a redirection. Glory doesn't erase pain, it redeems it. You carry something holy now. You walk with weight in the Spirit. The world may not recognize it, but darkness does. That's why it's been fighting you harder, because you've become dangerous. But you don't need to fight for victory anymore. You fight from victory. The war has already been won. You're just enforcing the outcome. So breathe. Warrior, straighten your crown. Wipe the ash from your hands. The battle hasn't broken you, it's built you. You've paid the price for authenticity. And heaven has seen every tear. Glory is gathering around you like morning light. The cost has been great, but the reward will be greater. Look closely. Chosen one, the sky above your life is shifting. You may not see it with your natural eyes, but something in the spiritual atmosphere has changed. The heaviness you've been feeling isn't defeat, it's the air pressure before the breakthrough. The heavens are realigning around your obedience. Every time you said yes when it hurt, yes when it cost you, yes when it didn't make sense, you altered the spiritual climate. Angels move on the sound of obedience. And lately, heaven has been echoing with your name. There are moments in divine history when God rearranges the unseen realms to prepare for a visible move. You're standing in one of those moments right now. It's not just your personal life that's shifting, it's your entire spiritual territory. What once resisted you is about to yield. What once drained you will soon empower you. The unseen realm is responding to your faith, the way the tide responds to the moon pulled irresistibly by light. As was spoken in the ancient book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 12. Do not fear, for from the first you set your heart to understand and humble yourself. Your words were heard. Heaven heard you the first time you prayed. The delay you've been living through wasn't denial, it was divine logistics. The angels have been fighting battles on your behalf that your eyes couldn't see. The resistance was evidence that something worth defending was on its way. And now, the shift is here. The message that was delayed is about to be delivered. Imagine standing on the shore, watching the ocean. The waves retreat, pulling back with force. To the untrained eye, it looks like loss. But the ocean isn't retreating, it's gathering power for the next wave. That's what heaven has been doing in your life. It seemed like everything was pulling away: friends, opportunities, resources, but all of it was gathering strength for the comeback. What's returning will not just fill your cup, it will overflow into the lives of others. This shift in the heavens means that the way you pray will begin to change. You'll notice your prayers carrying more weight, your words holding more authority. When you speak peace, the atmosphere will respond. When you declare healing, it will manifest faster. When you intercede for others, things will begin to move immediately. You've been promoted in the Spirit, not because of perfection, but because of persistence. You are stepping into a higher frequency, a deeper flow of favor. But remember, those who carry heavenly weight must walk with heavenly humility. The shift isn't about spotlight, it's about stewardship. God is entrusting you with influence that can open hearts, soften atmospheres, and redirect destinies. Handle it like sacred fire, powerful, but not yours to control. Chosen one. If you've been sensing this stirring, if something in your soul recognizes that heaven's gears are turning for you, don't let it pass unnoticed. When the wind of God changes direction, wise sailors lift their sails. Let this word be your sail. Let your spirit catch the new wind. And if this message resonates, if you feel that subtle confirmation inside that says, "This is my season, my shift," then take a small but meaningful step. Help this word reach others who are still waiting for their wind to change. Like, share, and subscribe, not as routine, but as reverence. Each click is a ripple across the ocean of someone's waiting. You might not realize it, but your share could be the lifeline that pulls another soul back from despair. When you engage with words of light, you join heaven's algorithm. You become part of a divine circulation system, keeping truth in motion. Somewhere, a weary heart scrolling through darkness will stop on a message that carries your fingerprint of faith. That's not coincidence, It's kingdom strategy. And when you comment, when you add your voice to this wave, it's more than digital interaction, it's agreement in the spirit. So, if this message touched you, let your comment be a whisper of gratitude, a testimony that you feel the shift too, because when heaven moves, it's never just one, it's all. The shift in the heavens has begun. The angels are realigning. The prayers are colliding. The promises are unfolding. You are standing in the very wind you once prayed for. Don't just watch it, move with it. The tide is turning, and your obedience is the oar that will carry you into destiny. Heaven is not distant, it's responding. You have not been forgotten. You have been synchronized. And as the new light rises, the old weight will fall away. Stand tall, lift your heart, and let your life echo the words, "Heaven is speaking. The shift has begun." The closer you come to the center of your calling, the clearer the truth becomes, and it's rarely what you expected. The great unveiling has begun. Chosen one, this is the moment heaven risked everything to deliver. The insider truth about why you've been chosen, why the warfare has been so intense, and why you could never walk the easy path. You were not sent to this earth merely to survive or to be blessed. You were sent as an answer to a problem. Every chosen one is heaven's response to a cry from the earth. Somewhere in this world, someone's prayer required your existence. That's why your journey could never be simple. You've been forged for function. The truth heaven has risked to reveal is this: you are part of a hidden plan of restoration. Every wound you've carried, every injustice you've endured, every loss that seemed meaningless, they all formed keys. Keys that unlock healing for others. You are not just a receiver of grace, you are a distributor of it. When you were being broken, heaven wasn't watching indifferently, it was writing your blueprint. You've been prepared to rebuild what others have abandoned. The compassion you feel for the hurting isn't random, it's memory. You recognize pain because you've lived through it. The patience you show isn't weakness, it's wisdom born from suffering. The truth that heaven is unveiling is that your pain has been your preparation all along. The Apostle Paul wrote something that pierces through centuries and still breathes into hearts like yours. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 8, verse 28. All things work together for good to those who love God, to those called according to His purpose. That verse isn't a cliche, it's a code. It means that nothing in your life has been wasted. The broken pieces, the missed seasons, the tears, they have all been interlocking fragments of purpose. God has been weaving threads of light through the darkest fabrics of your story. And now the tapestry is turning toward visibility. What once looked like chaos will soon reveal design. Heaven risked everything to make sure you'd understand this before it's too late. The world is desperate for authenticity. And that's what you carry. The systems of religion, performance, and pretense are crumbling. But you, because of your wilderness, carry something real. You carry fire that doesn't burn out. Faith that doesn't depend on applause. Love that doesn't demand recognition. That's why you've been set apart. You were never meant to fit into man-made molds. You were created to reflect something raw and radiant truth, wrapped in flesh. When people encounter you, they're supposed to encounter the living evidence that grace still works. That's your true ministry. It's not about titles or platforms. It's about presence. You are a walking altar, a portable sanctuary. The divine leaks through your kindness, your endurance, your honesty. The unveiling of the insider truth is this: you have been carrying heaven's evidence within you all along. You don't need a new calling, you need awareness. The glory you've been waiting for isn't coming from the outside, it's rising from within. Heaven's investment in you wasn't to make you powerful, but to make you pure. And purity is what gives power its credibility. The reason heaven risked it all to reach you now is because timing matters. We are living in an age of noise, where truth is drowned in distraction. But even in the chaos, heaven still speaks through chosen ones who will not compromise. That's you. You are the living message, the insider update made flesh. Every choice you make, how you forgive, how you serve, how you endure, broadcasts heaven's frequency into the world's confusion. Chosen one. The unveiling means responsibility. Once you know truth, you can't unknow it. You are accountable for the light you carry. But don't let that weight scare you, let it sober you. Because heaven wouldn't reveal this level of truth to someone unready. The very fact that you're hearing this now means you've passed the test. You've proven faithful in obscurity. And heaven is trusting you with visibility. From this point forward, your life will not be about proving yourself, it will be about being yourself. The true self heaven created, not the one shaped by fear or expectation. You've been through enough to know what matters. You've seen too much to return to pretending. So walk with confidence, but also with reverence. Carry this truth quietly at first, like a secret too holy to shout. Let your actions preach before your words ever do. When people ask, "What changed?" smile and say, "Everything," because the veil has been lifted and the truth has found its vessel. You are the insider revelation. Heaven risked everything to release into the earth. Live like it. Now, chosen one, you stand at the edge of revelation's end and responsibility's beginning. The message has reached its final note, and heaven watches silently to see what you will do with what you now know. The truth has not come to entertain you, it has come to awaken you. The same God who risked it all to reach you is standing near, waiting for your response. Not in fear, but in awe. As a father watching a child step into their inheritance, you have walked through fire and silence, through doubt and deliverance, and yet here you are still standing, still believing, still burning. This is no small thing. Every scar on your soul is a signature of survival. You carry marks that the world cannot see, but heaven reads them like a book. They tell a story of divine endurance. Now the final revelation is this: God's risk was never about losing you, it was about freeing you. He risked it all because love does not calculate safety, it moves toward redemption, no matter the cost. The cross itself was heaven's greatest risk, the divine daring to enter human frailty so that brokenness could become beauty again. And now, that same story continues in you. As was written in the Gospel of John, chapter 3, verse 16, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." Oh, that one verse carries the entire weight of heaven's gamble. Love gave, love risked, love blev. Love waited. Love is still waiting for you to believe that you were worth that risk. The warning woven into this truth is simple. Light ignored becomes darkness returned. When revelation arrives and is resisted, the heart hardens. That's why heaven speaks now with such urgency. You've been entrusted with insight that others never receive in a lifetime. What you do with it will shape not just your future, but the atmosphere around you. Do not let this truth become mere inspiration. Let it become incarnation, something you live, breathe, and carry. Because revelation without response becomes religion. And heaven did not cross eternity to make you religious. It came to make you radiant. The final call of this journey is not about grandeur, it's about grounding. It's time to live as the one who knows. You have seen the inside of the storm and survived. You have glimpsed the architecture of heaven and recognized your name written into it. You are not a wanderer anymore. You are a witness. The crown awaiting you is not made of gold. It is made of glory, an unseen light that rests on those who remain faithful until the end. Every act of obedience adds another gleam. Every quiet prayer adds another jewel. Every time you choose grace over bitterness, your crown grows heavier with meaning. You have been crowned not for conquest, but for constancy. But let this truth anchor you. Crowns are not rewards for perfection. They are acknowledgements of perseverance. You didn't have to be flawless to be chosen. You only had to stay. And you stayed. Through the betrayal, through the drought, through the delay. You stayed. Heaven saw that, and heaven remembered. Still, the warning remains. The same love that saves can also step back when resisted. Mercy has a rhythm, and rebellion breaks it. Do not drift back into numbness now that the noise has ceased. The moments that test you next will not be external. They will come in the quiet choices of daily life. Integrity, when no one watches. Faithfulness, when no one claps. Humility, when others boast. That's where your anointing matures. You are entering a season of silent authority, where your words will carry weight, not because of volume, but because of virtue. The truth, heaven risked everything to give you, has been implanted. Guard it, nurture it, live it. For you are not just carrying a message, you are the message. This is the balance of the chosen, the crown and the warning. Glory and gravity. You walk in both. The light upon you is real, but it shines only as long as you remain aligned. Never forget that crowns can slip when heads grow proud. The true chosen walk bowed, not broken. They lead with love, not leverage. Heaven's final whisper is simple. You are ready. The years of training have not been wasted. The wilderness was wisdom's classroom. And now the world is your mission field. Go quietly, but go completely. The same hands that carried you through the valley now release you to shine on the hill. Let this truth echo in your spirit, long after the words fade. You were worth the risk. Heaven didn't gamble, it invested. And the return on that investment is you. Standing here, awakened, anointed, and aware. You are not ordinary. You never were. You are one of God's chosen ones, called to carry light into places where light forgot to go. Carry it well. Before this message fades from your screen, pause for a moment. Chosen one, breathe. Let the words settle like rain after a long drought. You've walked through revelation after revelation. And now, heaven watches to see what you'll do with what you've received. You are not just a listener, you are a carrier of light. Every time you choose to spread truth, heaven multiplies it. If this journey spoke to you, if something within you awakened, then let your next act be one of ripple and remembrance. Like this message, not for numbers, but as a simple amen to what heaven has sown in you. Share it. The way a traveler shares bread on the road, because somewhere out there another weary soul is starving for the same hope that just fed you. Your share might be the spark that turns their night into dawn. Leave a comment. Even just a few words of gratitude or reflection, every testimony becomes another echo of faith. A reminder that the chosen ones are not alone. Your voice might be the one that keeps someone else believing. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, not as an act of habit, but as a declaration that you choose to stay connected to the flow of divine messages that keep your spirit alive. Heaven risked it all to bring you truth. Now you have the chance to return the light, to keep the message moving. So, go shine. Share. Speak. Let what found you here find someone else through you.